Welcome to the Christian Contractor Podcast.
Christian Contractor Podcast.
A show created for kingdom-driven Christian contractors that are focused on scaling their business in God's name while positively impacting the world around them. If you're ready to ascend from a contractor to a purpose-driven business owner, we're here to serve you. Here's your host, Brandon Guthrie.
Where did you invest in your marketing over the past year, 2 years? What brought you the greatest ROI? Is there room to scale that up by adding more budget or finding similar strategies or channels to tap into? Or can we, just optimize that messaging? Can we make what is already working well better? And then once we've exhausted that, then we're going to look at new strategies. And then I'd say another opportunity for residential contracting companies with a limited budget is to really just focus in on selling and generating more revenue from your existing and past customer base. So take some time to really review where things stand today and ask yourself, what opportunities do you have to upsell or to cross-sell? Is your sales team actually closing at an optimal rate? Are you listening to those sales calls and training people up where they need it? Or are you just kind of going with what's happening and have no sense of how people are doing when it comes to their closing rate or anything like that? Because if you're not investing in your team's growth, that's leaving money on the table. If you could close, even 2%, 3%, 5% more deals each month per salesperson, that's going to have a huge impact on your bottom line at the end of the year. So, and then, on top of that, just when are you communicating with your customers after the deal is done? Are you doing email? Are you doing direct mail? Are you checking in on them? If it's a project that was a little more involved, whether it's a remodel or, even a roof, like checking back in a couple weeks and seeing how they're doing. Is everything holding up okay? Even stopping in to inspect your work if that's something you have the time for. Like all those little things are going to go an extra long way in making sure that customer remembers you, because more often than not, once the job's done, a couple weeks later, they're not thinking about you anymore. But if they have this amazing white glove experience where you really went above and beyond, now that's where you're going to be able to get their business again and again and again. And they're going to tell their neighbors, they're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell their family that you're the person to call. So that's huge. And if you've provided that great experience the first time, these are going to be your best source. These customers are going to be your best source of new revenue. So
Huge. So for contractors that have limited marketing budget, how can they best leverage is number one is to double down on what's working, resist the urge to have the shiny object syndrome, and optimize. The grass isn't always greener on the other side.
No.
Water the grass you're already standing on. Optimize. Make your grass greener. And number two is, tap into that existing customer base. You paid a lot of money for those leads, that haven't ever answered. Get them on Smile and Dial, reach out, connect to them. Obviously exist people that have actually invested in your offering in the past. Reach out to them and see, hey, maybe you have an investment property. Maybe you have a friend that needs something. Maybe they have, XYZ, Airbnb. Everyone's getting in the Airbnb business now. Maybe they got an Airbnb.
You gotta ask the right questions.
Right? And just tap into that. There's probably a gold mine. And I love that. I wrote that down big time. I'm like, I need permission to use that one, dude. Dig where the gold is unless you just need some exercise.
Yeah, man.
Dude.
It's true. I mean, more effective marketing isn't always about chasing the latest technology trends and, like you said, those shiny objects, which, gosh, we know there are so many out there. There's a lot of noise, but if instead you can just figure out what's working well, optimize those efforts, and really focus on communicating well with your customers long after the job is done,
yeah,
that's going to yield results if you can do it well and consistently.
And invest in your team's growth. So that's another big one. If you can increase that sales percentage, if you can increase the closing rate, then that's exponential growth that you can create in your business. So those are huge. And for contractors listening in right now, audit yourself once again. Just like a lot of these things is like, oh yeah. Well, are you doing it? Are you doing it? Like, that's the bottom line. Is like, these are meant to be reminders to tell you, get up off your butt and get in there and start making some changes. So that's huge. Take notes, implement, be an action taker. And number 3, if you could help your clients all accomplish one thing, what would it be?
All right. So this is where we really get into, I think, the crux of it all, which is helping them to understand where they currently are and what the data is telling them. Data is everything when it comes to marketing, guys. So whenever I meet with a business owner, whether they're exploring becoming a client of ours or just have questions about marketing their business, they're overwhelmed by all the shiny objects that are out there. My goal is to uncover where they are now and where they want to go, because only then can we build the bridge between the two and I can give them proper guidance. So the process really starts with analyzing the questions and considerations that I've already talked about and deciphering what the data is telling us. And if you don't have the data, putting in the right systems to be able to capture it, because without that, it's hard to lay the foundation for any effective marketing. So the goal here is to eliminate the guesswork. If you know where every dollar you're putting in, it's bringing back 3x, 4x, 5x ROI, that's going to allow you to really sit down with your team or with your marketing partner and say, okay, we can see what's working well. It's Facebook ads. We're getting a 5x return. It's the SEO that we've been investing in for the past year that's now taking off, and we're seeing an amazing return on our organic traffic, or maybe something else entirely. But if you don't have those numbers, you're just throwing paint on the wall and hoping that something's going to stick. So we need clarity on all of the numbers and then where you want to go so that we can develop an action plan for reaching your ideal customers and getting to your growth goals. So, the few things is just looking at what the data is saying. If you don't have good data, making sure that you've got analytics set up, you've got a way to track where your leads are coming from, and you've got a CRM to follow them all the way through the customer journey, and making sure that you've got the right touch points in place throughout that journey.
Key, understanding where you're at, where you want to go. A lot of residential contractors maybe they just, I just want to grow. It's kind of arbitrary. We need to lock it in. Where are we going? And really dissect where we are now. So audit yourself. If you're not doing it, take notes, do it, take action. This is your time. There's no such thing as coincidences. You're listening to this right here, right now for a reason. Yep. And next is, what are the top 3 things all businesses need to do in marketing? No exceptions.
All right. So I would say first and foremost is having clear messaging. So again, going back to once we've looked at the data, once we've seen, okay, these are our most profitable services, this is what people are searching for, these are the decision makers that are ultimately pulling the trigger on the deal, now we can craft messaging that speaks to those pain points, that speaks to them specifically, and making sure that, amidst all of the noise out there, especially online these days, we're telling a story that clearly guides somebody from, okay, they've landed on my site, they have a problem, they know I solved the problem, I've shown that I'm the best at solving the problem, and now we're just making it an easy transition to taking that next step. So I highly recommend, a few resources. StoryBrand is excellent when it comes to really honing in on the customer journey and positioning them as the hero in the story as opposed to yourself. Like, at the end of the day, they don't care about you. They care about the problem that you can solve. So you're the guide in that process, and making sure that all of your marketing messaging is aligned with that, from your website to your ads to your radio scripts to TV to print, whatever it may be. You need to really hone in on the right messaging for the right people at the right time in their journey. So that would be number 1. Number 2 would kind of seem like a no-brainer at this point, but we see it still all too often, is just having a modern mobile optimized site that loads quickly, is easy to navigate, and takes people to where they need to go. That's your virtual office. If I walk into my doctor's office and it's hard to open the door. It's slow, it's creaky. It takes me 5 seconds to get in there. And then I walk in and it takes, 10 minutes for the receptionist to greet me. And there's a broken chair over here, which is like a broken link or something that's misformatted on your site, like kind of an off the cuff analogy here.
That's
But,
great.
I'm not going to have the best experience. I'm probably going to walk out of that doctor's
Oh,
office.
that's a great
And the
analogy.
same goes for your website. If I'm coming on there and it's not, answering my question, or it's just hard for me to take that next step, I'm probably leaving and going down the Google list to your competitor. And so, guys and gals out there, if you don't have a great website, it's time to invest, because that's not going to go away. You're always going to need it. That's an asset that continues to grow and feed your business, and you want to make sure that you're setting that up for success. Number 3, I would say that there's some things that we look at that we think, or some people might think, are dead when it comes to marketing, and that would be like email and even direct mail. But believe it or not, these are not dead, and still they can be one of the most cost-effective and revenue-generating marketing efforts that any business can make. So going back to the data, if you know that you have this neighborhood or this zip code where 50% of your profit came from, or your revenue came from last year, well, it's probably not a bad idea to send out some direct mail so that you're planting seeds, especially if you're going hyper local into a neighborhood where you've done a job and you can talk about that job specifically in the mailer, and you're consistently on a weekly or monthly basis sending this type of stuff. It's inevitable that they're going to see it. And even if it just goes in the recycling bin most of the time, you've still planted a seed. And when they have that need, they're going to think of you because you've been consistent. And if you top that up with good digital marketing, you're touching them on social media through some good targeting. They're seeing you when they're looking for services on Google because you have good reviews and good SEO. All these things are going to create synergy and compound together to ultimately ensure that when that person has the need, they're coming to you and not your competitor. And the same goes for email. Again, especially after the job is done, you need to stay top of mind with your existing customer base. So when you have something exciting going on in the business, if you've got a special offer, a milestone, you're doing something great in the community, or you're just checking in with like a one-to-one message, those touch points are going to, again, help increase the lifetime value of that customer, and could also lead to referrals. You've got to ask for those, by the way. You've got to have a good system in place where when the job is done, you mention to people, hey, if you do have a neighbor that is looking for, this same thing that we just did, you had a great experience. We would appreciate your trust and recommendation. And also we have this great referral program where we give you X, Y, and Z, or we enter you into our monthly giveaway to win a cruise, or, whatever the case may be. Having some formal incentivized referral program in addition to just being consistent and having those touch points and following up and providing a great service, all is going to lead to a better bottom line, guys. So those are my 3.
Fire. Amazing. Take notes, guys. Audit yourself. Take action. You're here, right here. You're right here, right now for a reason. Come on, write it down. Let's go. And last but not least, how has God played a role in your journey?
Yeah, so a short story for this one. Back when I played high school football, I was very fortunate to have an amazing mentor for a coach named David Kitchell. And before every game, we would pray, but we would also go through this visualization exercise where we would lock hands as brothers in the locker room, and as a team, we would repeat these positive affirmations for how we would win the day. And these would be things like, I will fly to the ball, poise, I will know my assignments. A lot of them were different every week, but all kinds of affirmations that would get our head in the right place to be able to take the field and perform and do what we had practiced to do. So one of the affirmations that we would always use to end this practice were the words love and care for each other. And this just stuck with me. This became my philosophy in life, to love and care for the people around me, and to be the commitment of being a beacon of love, of positivity, and support in the lives of those around me. And this goes for the people that I'm fortunate to serve in business. This goes for my loved ones, my friends, my family. This goes for the people that I meet on the street. I strive to always be that beacon and show up with that positivity, with that love, with that care. And I believe that is the mission that we are here to do in this life, to love and care for each other.
Amen, brother. Appreciate that. That's huge. Yeah, as soon as we can flip the script and make it, instead of all about us, and make it about serving others, is when almost everything just starts to click. It's almost like we were designed to do that, maybe.
Yeah.
So, dude, that's...
Maybe. I think yes. I think that's why we were put on this planet, is to love and care for each other, man. So
fire. I love it. Amazing, dude. Well, it's been amazing having you, TJ. For you contractors listening in right now, audit yourself, take notes, take action. You're right here, right now, for a reason.
Do it.
And take action, implement. Don't sleep on it, because investing time into yourself is the best investment that you can make. So you guys, let's do it. Come on. Dude, TJ, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you, my man. You are a rock star. Where can people find you and connect with you?
Yeah, man. The social medias, Facebook, Instagram, you'll find me. I am TJ Murphy. There's lots of TJ Murphys out there, so I had to throw the I am in there. LinkedIn should just be able to find me, TJ Murphy. And I'm actually going to be launching a podcast like this called Adventurous Entrepreneurs next month, where I'll be exploring the journey and adventures of top performing entrepreneurs like yourself, Brandon, and really teasing out the tactical insights into living a holistic lifestyle that combines business, purpose, and fun in ways that lead to living a well-rounded life. So if people want to check that out, it'll be launching here around November 1st, 2022. And you can find all the links and everything by visiting adventurousentrepreneurspodcast.com.
Man, I am pumped. I definitely will be tuning into that, because that sounds amazing. So, dude, thank you so much, listeners, for tuning into the Christian Contractor Podcast. I am Brandon Guthrie with Dream Design Labs. If you are a Christian contractor that wants to scale to 7 and even 8 figures and beyond, head to go.dreamdesignlabs.com/950K-30 days. That's 950K-30 days, where we teach exactly how we helped a residential contractor generate $950,000 in revenue in just 30 days. It's free, and I guarantee you'll get great value from the content. Remember, marketing doesn't have to be hard.